Welcome to episode 3 of the Famous Artist Show, people. The Famous Artist Show. Okay, let's begin with Jackson Pollock's uncanny, spontaneous splatters, drunken stubbers, nonconformists. He's instrumental. The explosion of color splattered upon the canvases on a style that he created in the early 50s that made him the actual James Dean of our American culture. I mean, Jackson Pollock and James Dean are quite alike. They both died the same in car wrecks. The theme of this show is called The Social Outcast. This is exactly what underdogs or celebrities who were at one time unnoticed came out of nowhere and became extremely famous through their legendary stories. Another artist, Ashley Gorky, also falls in those legendary status, but probably not as famous as, how can I say it, James Dean or Jackson Pollock's story. But these guys were complete outcasts. They were in social situations, but never quite fit in. Especially Jackson Pollock, he never quite fit in. And there's a lot of people out there in the creative industry that never quite fit in. Being a social outcast, it's a curse, and it's also a blessing at the same time, because sometimes these people are way ahead of their time, they don't even understand it. I gotta tell you, Jackson Pollock was very lucky to be married to Lee Krasner. She did all the legwork, while Jackson Pollock just painted, got drunk, just did whatever he wanted. She really believed in him. She was like his marketing campaign officer. Before they even understood what marketing campaign was in the 50s and the 40s, you know, they had these campaigns in these magazines and these pulp fiction type of things that everybody read at the time. But I got to tell you, Lee Krasner made Pollock. She got him hooked up with Peggy Guggenheim, for Christ's sake. And he had his, he was shown at the Art of the Century Gallery back then, and that was a big deal. And she commissioned him to do a famous commission piece in her house. These cats are cool. Being unconventional, it's nothing wrong with that. A social outcast is that, a social outcast. And I have to say I consider myself a social outcast because I may not have the fame, I may not have the legends that these guys have. Rothko, Pollock, Krasner, Kandinsky, a whole slew of the Abstract Expressionists, or even Michelangelo. I don't have that, but I have a pretty interesting story. Let's continue with that. Spring of 1989. I was a sheltered kid. Even in high school, I never went to the parties. All I did was work. And then I got admitted to the Pennsylvania Academy of Fine Arts. I qualified. I got in. Because back then, to get into that school, you had to compete. And wow, I got in. Anyway, then I inspired Raphael Tiberino, who's a good friend of mine, to actually come to school with me, and he got in too. That was great. So, to put this in a nutshell, I got introduced to parties through the Tiberinos. One night, literally, there were hundreds of people in their backyard drinking, and I'm like, what the hell is this? And they had this bottle of peach schnapps. So I'm hearing a crowd of hundreds of people, and Raphael's just going, get this guy to drink, because I never drank a damn thing in my life. Not even that. I might have tasted wine here and there, but never got to the extreme. And then I'm hearing my name, go on. I mean, hundreds of people go and say, go on. And I start drinking shots after shots of this disgusting to me, peach schnapps. And I got plastered, man. I was like, what the hell is this? You know, you're young, there's a lot of hormones, a lot of pretty girls. And that night I remember I was in that drunken stupor. I kissed a few of these women. I'm like, wow. It's just like a little peck. You know, they knew me there or anything like that. But it was just an amazing night. the next morning was the real party. I woke up maybe about 9, 10 o'clock in the morning, probably a Sunday morning or something like that, if I remember vaguely. And I see Raphael's father, Joe Tiberino, talking to his buddies. And I'm going to the people that are around me. I said, that's the real party right there. That's the real party right there, because Joe Tiberino and his friends are talking about their stories, and they're talking about what was Bacchanal's bar. They're talking about their daily lives and literature and politics and everything. And I'm like, this 19-year-old kid listening to like an NPR radio show, but in real life. You got the Italian, the Irish, you got a whole multitude of cultured people in the media right there and then, and Joe Tiberino exchanging thoughts, and I'm going like, what the hell is this? This is all a part of this outcast mentality. It's like, oh yeah, I drank, I got drunk, but that wasn't the whole idea. The whole idea was the intellectual properties that came out of that state of mind that I was influenced to do. That is the outcast in me. And I've even now in my 50s, I still feel a non-connection to this party life and this dump life. I could have fun. I mean, as a kid, I was crazy. As older, I kind of mellowed down a little bit, but I've never felt that I was part of a clique, even though I was in the middle of everything at one time, and also had some time attention. But even then, I felt kind of like outdoor. I'm like the person in the windowsill looking at the mannequin with the designs and the clothing, like some of the things out in those Macy's stores or whatever, and I never could find myself going inside. I'm just the onlooker. That is the outcast that I speak of, people, and it is real. I mean, we got a lot of introverts. I was very, very shy, very introverted, but I had this extrovert about me that didn't show up till later on in life. But I've always been an introvert extrovert. I did crazy things, but who hasn't? But I gotta tell you, that is the outcast in life.